Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. The young man who was leaving choir rehearsal, car breaks down, side of the road. After 2 o'clock in the morning, cop comes up, unmarked van. He ends up dead. That former cop, Palm Beach Gardens police officer, Nouman Raja, found guilty today of attempted murder and manslaughter in the death of Corey Jones. As I said, Jones was in he was in a disabled car. He was waiting for roadside assistance. Raja rolls up, quick argument, fires, kills Jones. Joining us right now is Ben Crump. He is the family attorney for Corey Jones' family. Ben, describe for us the feeling of Corey Jones' family when they heard the jury say guilty.
You know, Roland, it had been over 3 years since they had been fighting for justice. You know, we were on your show, and oftentimes things get swept under the rug. But his family, such a good family, such good character, they were relieved. They thanked God. They left the courtroom, and his entire family went to the cemetery, and they visited with Corey at the graveyard. It was deep. And then we had a press conference, Roland, and we came after we were at the courthouse with all of the media there, and his sister, who is practically 9 months pregnant, she's expected to have the baby now at any moment. She was asked, what is she planning on doing? And she said, having her boy child and telling him about who her Uncle Corey Jones was. And then she broke into song, singing "Victory Is Mine." And the whole family joined in, and it was a powerful moment because they are a deeply Christian family. Anquan Bolden, who played in the NFL, and Corey's brother, CJ, played in the NFL for 7 years. And so when you talk about Colin Kaepernick and what we take a knee for, nothing was more emblematic than that today. 3 years they've been fighting. So thank you, Roland, for being on the story when a lot of people forgot about it, and now everybody is trying to talk about it again. But we got to keep our stories alive because Corey was the best that we had to offer.
Well, and that's the point, Ben. I mean, the reality is we can go a number of cases. We could talk about when those black women were raped by the cop in Holtzclaw in Oklahoma City. Frankly, look, mainstream media, they ignored it, didn't cover the trial. We kept covering it every single day. This is also why I keep telling people why they got to help us keep this show, Roland Martin Unfiltered, on the air, because there's no other show in America that daily that is talking about black folks, talking to black people and our issues. And when you talk about this trial here, I mean, it was just undeniable. First of all, we're going to play right now, folks. This is the cops debriefing Nouman Raja after he killed Corey Jones.
I thought it was a disabled vehicle on the side of the road or an abandoned vehicle. So I saw this vehicle and everything, and I was like, okay, I've got this vehicle on the side of the road, and, you know, I'm going to check out with it, make sure everything's okay. I didn't think there was anybody in there, and as I got close to the vehicle, and the door swung open, and this guy jumps up and I immediately got out of the van, and he's like, I'm okay, man. And at which point I said, hey man, police, can I help you? And second I said police, he jumped back, and I clearly remember him drawing and pointing a gun at me. I saw that silver muzzle, and he had, I can swear on this, he had a Laser Max laser in the guide rod in the gun, and I saw that red light of that Laser Max flashing at me, and I immediately just shouted, drop the gun, and sorry.
Let's do this. Take a deep breath.
I remember pulling the trigger, I think 2 to 3 times.
Now, then, of course, Ben Crump, we're about to play this second video. They're going to have you comment. Folks, this is the audio of Corey Jones on the phone with roadside assistance proving everything you just heard was a damn lie.
Is there any buildings, landmarks, anything like that that I could use to pinpoint your address?
Stop. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Ben, it wasn't even 10 seconds before Raja pumped those bullets into Corey Jones.
Roland, and first of all, go on. I know you have one of my sheroes there, Janice Mathis. So I want to show some respect because she's a great lawyer as well. But I want to say this. Can you imagine, now that the truth has come out today and we achieved this historic victory, the first time a police officer has been convicted of killing a black person in the state of Florida in at least 34 years. And so this is not only a victory over police brutality, but it's also a victory over stand your ground, because he had the audacity to say that he was standing his ground. And can you imagine if we did not have that tow truck company recording? He would have got away with murder. This young man with no criminal history was a prince of a man from everybody's description. But it makes me wonder, Roland Martin, how many other black men have been killed in America by police officers and they lied and got away with murder because there was no audio recording or no video recording of it.
Right. And absolutely, of course, then, we all thought after Rodney King, video is going to make the difference. But the reality is we have seen numerous cases where we have video. You just had, of course, the Department of Justice refuse to file civil rights charges against the woman who killed Terrence Crutcher. We had the video of him with his hands up, with him walking slowly, and no other cop firing their gun except her. We, of course, know what happened, the story out of Stephon Clark out of Sacramento, where they're still protesting as well. And it's the same thing. And so this is where, and then, the crazy part is you still have police who will defend guys like that, even though now we know he was absolutely lying.
Absolutely. And Roland, not only was it a lie, you do know at the end of the recording for your audience that when he called 911 on his cell phone, because he left his police vest identifying himself as a police in the car, as well as his police issued service revolver, he shot him with his private gun, and he called on his private cell phone, the 911 call, and tried to cover it up, saying, I got a shots fired. I'm chasing somebody, and he shoots 3 more shots. But the FBI reenactment proved that he had already shot Corey Jones, and Corey Jones was on the ground dying when he made that call to try to conspire to cover up this lie. And it's just one of those situations where today, if the Instagram feed has over 1 million views on it. If you look at Corey Jones' family, I mean, such a good family. And it goes for the notion, Roland Martin, that any of us are targets. Mm-hmm. They like to say they got to be thugs or nefarious. That don't happen to good people. Man, Corey Jones, his softball team, little black girls and white girls were at the courthouse today, who he had helped coach softball. The children he had volunteered to learn how to beat the drums today were at the courthouse. And so when we're singing "Victory is mine, Satan get thee behind," that is who Corey Jones was. He was a good young man brought up in a Christian church. Yep. And he was the best of us, but this guy shot and killed him for no other reason, I believe, than he was black.
Ben Crump, we appreciate it. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks, Roland.
Real quick here, go to our panel. First of all, thank goodness this jury returned a guilty verdict. It is rare to have a former cop found guilty of killing, not just anybody, but definitely killing somebody black.
It's true, Roland, but I worry about this, though, brother. how our expectations have become diminished. This is not belittle this is great, but this is not justice. This brother would be alive if there was justice. Justice would be if somebody roll up on you like that, you drop them, you blow their brains out if you have to, and you'll stand your ground. There's no justice for us. You can't bring this man back to life. Betty, what's her name? Betty Shelby is working 30 miles outside of Tulsa at another place.
Teaching cops.
Absolutely. After the cold-blooded murder of Terrence Crutcher, and the Justice Department decided 4 or 5 days ago not to bring her up on civil rights justice. There is no justice for black women and men in this country. And this victory notwithstanding.
Let's understand the importance that in this 2020 election that we as a community have to place on reforming our criminal justice system and reforming the way that we treat these cops. We have to update the civil rights laws that have been on the books since the 1960s so that they are more effective, because right now they might as well not be on the books. If someone like Betty Shelby doesn't get charged with a civil rights violation, if George Zimmerman doesn't get charged with a civil rights violation, then just take the law off the books.
First of all, we have no resolution, Janice, on a cop who killed Eric Garner.
Wow. That's correct. And and
so I think this year's the 5th anniversary of his death.
It is.
When you talk about amending and correcting the criminal justice system, the civil justice system, you really got to look at the presumptions that are built into the law. The law is bent in favor of police use of force.
That's right.
The presumption is the king can do no wrong, sovereign immunity. It is most difficult. Robert and I sued the state of Georgia over Stand Your Ground when it was first, it was been a dozen years ago, almost that long. You're talking about fundamental change to the way the law is structured and the suppositions that are built into it before you're going to get meaningful change. Yeah, I love the fact that you had an FBI investigation that produced the evidence that could overcome the jury's doubt.
Right.
But that's like spooning out the ocean with a teaspoon.
Lord have mercy.
And here's the piece. Robert made the point. It's very simple. You see the reaction in Sacramento to the DA who wouldn't charge those cops. That means we have to elect new DAs.
That's right.
We have to connect the dots. There's a whole bunch of people out there right now who are running their damn mouths focused on those folks who are running for president. But if you ignore DAs and you ignore judges and you ignore mayors where they have city manager form of government, where the city council is going to be picking the police chief, well, then you're doing a disservice. All these people who run their mouths talking about, what they care about, how they must change things, you sound like a damn fool if you say, I'm not going to vote as a result. Voting is one way of doing it. I interviewed Annie Pearl Ivory in Selma. That sister has been to jail more than 50 times. They took beatings. She told me a story of one sister who got beat one sister who they put in a state prison with men. She said, Roland, she never told me what happened to her, but she never returned to the movement.
My God.
And she did it when it came to the issue of voting. You can be outraged and upset and mad, but if you sit your ass at home on election day, then you're part of the problem. It's as simple as that. No excuses. And so you'll be able to get justice for Corey Jones and then Stephon Clark and so many others if we throw out these people and you elect folks like Krasner in Philadelphia and Wesley Bell in St. Louis and Marilyn Mosby here in Baltimore County, Aramis Ayala, who's there in Florida. That's how we're able to do it. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, calling all HBCU alumni, students, and leaders, enter the Ford Motor Company HBCU Mobility Challenge and win $25,000 for your school. Building on their long-term support of HBCUs, Ford is looking to improve mobility in HBCU communities through innovative solutions. The winning program will receive a grant up to $25,000 to implement their proposal. The deadline to apply is March 31st, 2019. Go to this site, FGB.Life, FGB.Life, for more information and to apply. Ford goes further in our community, and we thank them for being a partner here at Roland Martin Unfiltered. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.